a
bunch of administrators I need to bring over yet.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May board meeting, regular board meeting for Northwestern Lehigh School District. Would you please join me with the opening exercises? I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. And Stacy, would you please call the roll?
Sure. John Cassiano,
Here.
Willard Jelliker,
Here.
Joseph Fatzinger, Todd Hernandez,
Here.
Todd Leiser,
Here.
Rosemary Lister, here. Alan Rex,
Here.
Rachel Scheffler, here. James Warfel.
Here.
I think Joe has been delayed. He'd be here in a minute or two, and we have everybody present when he gets here. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda, and there were some late ads today, but they'll be on your device this evening, so I would ask for approval of the agenda that we have in front of us.
Approval of the agenda.
Motion by Mrs. Shepherd.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cassiano. Any other comments or questions about the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And we have an agenda. And the first item on the agenda is a COVID issue that we need to take care of, and that is to affirm all the virtual meetings that we had since April 1st, 2020 until April 21st, 2021. And those meeting dates are on your devices, and I would ask for a motion to affirm those school board meetings that we did virtually during the COVID shutdown. And this is,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, this is just to affirm the meetings and confirm all the minutes that were taken and the discussion and the action that was taken at those virtual meetings. And there was a motion by Mr. Lacy,
Second.
second by Mrs. Scheffler. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And that motion carried. And welcome once again to everyone who is in attendance tonight in Zoom. And at this point in our meeting, we offer courtesy of the floor to anyone who would like to address the board. Please raise your hand on your Zoom device and begin by stating your name and your address. Dr. Sosnovic, do we have anybody waiting?
My mic's not working.
This is me.
Yes, hello. My name is Kathy Meath. My address is 8380 Moore Lane, Fogelsville, 18051. I am a trustee on the Circle of Seasons Charter School Board. I realize you do not have that discussion point on your agenda tonight. I just wanted to extend my thanks to Mrs. Holman and the whole school district team that came back in April to our school to conduct a very thorough on-site visit, complete with observations, interviews, reviewing of records. And we, Circle of Seasons, with this important step completed, Circle of Seasons looks forward to completing the charter renewal process in the near future. So thank you for all of your hard work for our charter renewal.
Thank you for your comments and your attendance, Mrs. Meese.
I do not see anyone else.
No one else is waiting, raising their hands to address the board. At this time, there will be another opportunity to offer courtesy of the floor at the end of the meeting, if anybody would like to address the board at that time. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And these minutes are on your devices from the board meeting on April 21st and the workshop we had on May 5th.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fatsinger,
Second.
second by Mr. Rex. Any comments or question about the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is, we have some hails and farewells this evening on the personnel, but let's do the farewells. So we had 13 retirees and a middle school art presentation under recognition and presentations. And Mrs. Holman, will you please take us through that?
I will actually pass the first duty over to Mrs. Matika, who is on, and then I will certainly follow up comments after we go through some of the recognitions. Mrs. Matika?
Thank you, Mrs. Holman. We expect to have about 6 of the retirees with us tonight on Zoom. I'm seeing most of them there. Because they're with us tonight, we will read their resolutions and enter them into the record tonight. We'll go first with Aileen, who will present the resolution to Terry Carnahan.
Thank you, Mrs. Matika. I'm grateful or honored, to present this to Terry Carnahan in grateful recognition of 16 years of service to the Northwestern Lehigh School District. Whereas Mrs. Carnahan has completed 16 years of distinguished black and gold service as a teacher at Northwestern Lehigh School District, and whereas Mrs. Carnahan created a positive and inviting learning environment for all of her students, and whereas Mrs. Carnahan routinely went above and beyond to meet the needs of all of her students in their academics as well as their social and emotional needs, and whereas Mrs. Carnahan saw the potential in all students and worked tirelessly to support their growth and development and to help them achieve their goals, and whereas Mrs. Carnahan understood the meaning of school community and Tiger Pride and supported the staff of Northwestern Lehigh School District, and whereas Mrs. Carnahan leaves the educational profession knowing that she provided advocacy, compassion, support, professionalism, kindness, and Tiger Pride, therefore be it resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Northwestern Lehigh School District tenders Terry Carnahan the sincere thanks and appreciation of the board for her commitment and dedication on behalf of our schools and the Northwestern Lehigh family. Be it resolved further that this resolution be made a permanent part of the record of this public meeting, May 12th, 2021.
Terry, are you there? Would you like to say a few words?
Mrs. Carnahan, you have the mic?
I think I have the mic on. Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you could just turn your speakers down as you're talking,
Okay.
so there's not so much echo.
Okay, how's that?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, my apologies. Thank you, Aileen, for those kind words. As I get ready to finish my teaching career with Northwestern, I have to say what's going to stay in my heart and my mind is the students, seeing them mature and progress, both as a flex advisor and throughout the Spanish program. Lots of students who decided to go on with their Spanish studies and continue and travel and work using the language. And the staff at the high school is beyond comparison, from the custodians to the aides to the guidance counselor to fellow teachers. And those are memories I'm going to take with me forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry, and congratulations. Aileen, I'm going to ask you to jump to present the next one to Teresa Leverance, and I believe Teresa is on also. Teresa, are you there?
I believe I saw her on there, Mrs. Matika.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am again honored to present this to Teresa Leverance in grateful recognition of her 25 years of service to the Northwestern Lehigh School District. Whereas Mrs. Leverance has completed 25 years of distinguished black and gold service as a teacher at Northwestern Lehigh School District, and whereas Mrs. Leverance created a positive and inviting learning environment for all of her students, and whereas Mrs. Leverance routinely went above and beyond to meet the needs of her students in their academics as well as in their social and emotional needs. And whereas Mrs. Leverance saw the potential in all of her students and worked tirelessly to support their growth and development and to help them achieve their individual goals. And whereas Mrs. Leverance understood the meaning of school community and Tiger Pride and supported the staff at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Leverance leaves the educational profession knowing she provided advocacy, compassion, support, professionalism, kindness, and Tiger Pride. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Northwestern Lehigh School District tenders Teresa Leverance the sincere thanks and appreciation of the board for her commitment and dedication on behalf of our schools and the Northwestern Lehigh family. Be it resolved further that this resolution be made a permanent part of the record of this public meeting, May 12th, 2021. Congratulations, Teresa.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
Just very short and sweet. I first want to give a little shout out to Dr. Warfel, who was there when I started my career at Northwestern, and fittingly that he's there this evening to say goodbye. So we have a lot of memories, good memories from the middle school. And I'm graduating with a fine list of them tonight as well. And I just want to tell you how honored and privileged it's been to work in the district. My family, my boys went through there, and I just couldn't be more honored. And I thank everyone.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, we'll move on to Mrs. Brulette. Jill, would you like to present to Denise Kalinowski, please?
Sure, I would be honored to do that. This is presented to Denise Kalinowski in grateful recognition of 11 years of service to the Northwestern Lehigh School District. Whereas Mrs. Kalinowski has completed 11 years of distinguished Black and Gold service as an instructional assistant at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Kalinowski created a positive and interactive learning environment and promoted academic achievement for all students. And whereas Mrs. Kalinowski routinely went above and beyond to support the teachers with whom she worked and to meet the needs of all students. And whereas Mrs. Kalinowski saw the potential in every student and worked diligently to help each student achieve their best. And whereas Mrs. Kalinowski understood the meaning of school community and Tiger Pride and supported the staff at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Kalinowski leaves the educational profession knowing that she provided advocacy, compassion, support, professionalism, kindness, and Tiger Pride. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Northwestern Lehigh School District tenders Denise Kalinowski the sincere thanks and appreciation of the board for her commitment and dedication on behalf of our schools and the Northwestern family. And be it resolved further that this resolution be made a permanent part of the record of this public meeting, May 12th, 2021. Congratulations, Denise.
Denise, are you there?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Yay.
Thank you so much. I just want to say I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have worked for such a wonderful school district. Over the years, I made many wonderful friendships that I will always treasure. I enjoyed working with the children, watching them grow. It was very fulfilling seeing them achieve their goals and watching their confidence get stronger as they learn new things. And thank you always to administration. You've always been kind and helpful. And a big thanks to Jill Burlap for being an amazing principal and for always being there and being easy to talk to. So as I close this chapter and go on to the next, I wish you all much happiness, good health always. God bless you all.
Thank you, Denise. Jill, if you want to stay on and present to Keely Dumbleton.
Sure, I would be honored to. This is presented to Keely Dumbleton in grateful recognition of 16 years of service to the Northwestern Lehigh School District. Whereas Mrs. Dumbleton has completed 16 years of distinguished Black and Gold service as an instructional assistant and 2 years as a substitute instructional assistant at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Dumbleton created a positive and interactive learning environment and promoted academic achievement for all students. And whereas Mrs. Dumbleton recognized the needs of each student and individualize the learning environment to ensure the success of every student. And whereas Mrs. Dumbleton saw the potential in every student and worked diligently to help every student achieve their best. And whereas Mrs. Dumbleton understood the meaning of teamwork, school community, and Tiger Pride, and supported the students and staff at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Dumbleton leaves the educational profession, knowing that she provided advocacy, compassion, support, professionalism, kindness, and Tiger Pride. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Northwestern Lehigh School District tenders Keely Dumbleton the sincere thanks and appreciation of the board for her commitment and dedication on behalf of our schools and the Northwestern family. And be it resolved further that this resolution be made a permanent part of the record of this public meeting, May 12th, 2021. Congratulations, Keely.
Keely, are you there? Oh, there she is.
Yeah, I'll just say something really short and sweet. I just have a couple sentences I'd like to read. We all know that this has been a very challenging year for everyone, but I'm very thankful for the special friendships and the opportunity to teach and help many children over the years. Watching the children enter kindergarten and seeing them graduate is an amazing journey. As I walk out those doors for the last time in June, I will take with me many fun and lasting memories from my 16 years at Weisenberg. I have enjoyed coming to school every day. So thank you so much for the opportunity to work at Northwestern Lehigh.
Congratulations, Keely.
Thank you.
Next is Lori Lenhart. Is Lori on? And I'm honored to read this resolution for Lori Lenhart, as Art is not available this evening. This is presented to Lori Lenhart in grateful recognition of 12 years of service to the Northwestern Lehigh School District. Whereas Mrs. Lenhart has completed 12 years of distinguished Black and Gold service as a custodian at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Lenhart recognized the needs of the district and assisted our students. And whereas Mrs. Lenhart created a clean, positive, and supportive environment for our students and their achievement. And whereas Mrs. Lenhart routinely assisted the support staff with whom she worked. And whereas Mrs. Lenhart worked setting up and tearing down for student and school events to help keep the district buildings clean and orderly. And whereas Mrs. Lenhart understood the meaning of school community and supported employees and students of the Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Lenhart leaves her profession knowing that she provided support, cleanliness, and Tiger Pride, therefore be it resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Northwestern Lehigh School District tenders Lori Lenhart with sincere thanks and appreciation of the board for her commitment and dedication on behalf of our schools and the Northwestern Lehigh family. And be it resolved further that this resolution be made part of the permanent record of this public meeting, May 12th, 2021. Lori, are you there?
She dropped off.
Is Lori there?
Mrs. Matika, she was, but it looks like she got disconnected. I no longer see her in the room.
Okay, maybe she will call back in. I hope so. Okay, we will continue with Mr. DeVico. If you could kindly present the resolution to Wendy Madaus.
Absolutely. Good evening. I'm honored to present this recognition to Wendy Madaus. This resolution is presented to Wendy Madaus in grateful recognition of 29 years of service to the Northwestern Lehigh School District. Whereas Mrs. Madaus has completed 29 years of distinguished Black and Gold service as a teacher at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Madaus embraced the middle level education philosophy and demonstrated through her teaching and interactions the importance of social emotional learning. And whereas Mrs. Madaus fostered a positive learning environment and promoted academic achievement and growth for all students. And whereas Mrs. Madaus saw the potential in every student and worked diligently to help each student develop and grow academically, socially, behaviorally, and emotionally. And whereas Mrs. Madaus understood the meaning of school community and Tiger Pride by organizing and participating in activities and events, and supported her colleagues at Northwestern Lehigh School District. And whereas Mrs. Madaus leaves the educational profession knowing that she provided advocacy, compassion, support, professionalism, kindness, and Tiger Pride. Therefore, be resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Northwestern Lehigh School District tenders Wendy Madaus sincere thanks and appreciation of the board for her commitment and dedication on behalf of our schools and the Northwestern family. And be it resolved further that this resolution be made a permanent part of the record of this public meeting, May 12th, 2021. Congratulations, Wendy.
There she is, Wendy.
Here I am. That was so serious, Bill. I'm not used to that. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like yesterday, Dr. Jim Morphle made that phone call to get me up to Northwestern from Delaware. I've been so fortunate to learn from the very best. I've been blessed to work alongside of so many wonderful people. I know if I name one, I'm going to forget 20. So tragedy did strike my family that I can share with you tonight. Honestly, I wouldn't have gotten through it without my middle school family. Also, Luann was instrumental to me. I can honestly say after 35 and a half years, this was a precipice year. I witnessed frustration and tears. I witnessed the people juggling their commitment to their family, to the classroom, well beyond the school day into our weekends. We've never worked harder. So I thank you and so many for giving me this experience. The administration, Bill and Amy, that had to rein me in on many occasions. The staff who had to tolerate all my crazy ideas, to the students that loved to dance alongside with me. In closing, I respectfully and sincerely ask the board to please recognize all the efforts of your district staff as you did our deserving administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Lori is on, if I could try to get her.
She's on.
Lori, you want to try again?
Yes, I don't know what happened. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It just cut out right at the major part. But all I'd like to say is I thank everybody for the privilege of working beside my fellow custodians, number one, who are still the greatest, keeping the place clean and cleanliness, and all the teachers and everybody who I've come in contact with. You've just enhanced me to no end. And I just wanted you to know that this is not the end of my Tiger Pride. It's just a new chapter in the book that I'm starting. So keep that in mind. Retirement is not forever. Thank you very much. And I hope everybody is great and safe and healthy.
Lori, I'm sorry that you missed the proclamation and the resignation, the recognition. I will call and read it to you personally.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Matika. I would just like to publicly, Mrs. Matika probably has the years totaled up for me, and she will probably say it during her report, but certainly this is a monumental year in terms of having as many recognitions and retirements, although we have to do them virtually. You certainly heard the heartfelt sentiments from all of our employees that did attend this evening. And Mrs. Matika, do you have anything further before we move to the art presentation?
I do not. Thank you.
Mr. DeVico, I will allow you to introduce the middle school art presentation, which is also on as a recognition with Mrs. Fogel.
Thank you. So Mrs. Fogel's was unable to join us tonight, so she put together this nice presentation for us. It includes lots of the work that the students did this school year. Also, I'd like to put a plug out there, and we'll make sure that you have the link at some point when it's published, is that typically we do an arts expo or students expo at the middle school where we put on display student projects and work, artwork and the related arts, and also classroom work. This year, due to COVID and not having visitors in the building, she and a few other colleagues have put together a very nice virtual student expo. So we'll make sure that you get the link for that so you can click around in there and see some of the great work that we were still able to do regardless of the situation we were in this year. So I'll turn it over to Mrs. Fogel via the art presentation on the video.
Good evening. My name is Christina Fogel. I am the art teacher at the middle school. This is my great opportunity to present student artwork. Typically, in the last 17 years, I have been presenting individual student work and showcasing them individually. And due to this unique year, I've decided to change things up just a bit. So I've put together an iMovie that displays some of the collaborative things that we've been doing despite the limitations that we have for the 2021 school year. So enjoy and thank you again. This year has definitely come with some limitations. Our learning model, social distancing, wearing masks, and of course, not being able to share materials. But this year has also taught us. It's taught us to be creative despite our limitations. And we've been doing things that are collaborative. This year's 7th grade portraits looked a little bit different. They created mixed media portraits using pencil and paper, Google Drawing, and then putting them together to be collaborative with stop motion animation. Eighth grade also collaborated on a few different projects this year. We really tried to focus on being positive and looking on the bright side. So each student created a word of inspiration and put them together using the laser engraver. We began each marking period this year speaking about mindset and focusing, emphasizing the importance of our strengths and understanding that we can do anything, really relishing in what it is that we're good at. And 6th grade created superheroes based off of their power, their strength. I wanted to say thank you to anyone who has supported someone else throughout this year. Thank you for showing your tiger pride.
Thanks again, and I will make sure that the link to the Student Expo is forwarded to everybody and obviously published on our website, so even the community can access that work as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeVico, for introducing Mrs. Fogel in the presentation. I will turn it back over to Mr. Delper for the board report.
Well, thank you. And again, thank you for having all the retirees with us here tonight so that we could recognize all the service. I didn't count the number of years. Maybe Mrs. Natika has that in her hip bucket, but it certainly is a list of legends and fixtures that we had here at Northwestern Lehigh that we're going to miss. And we are thankful that we did have the time with you here to help us complete our mission at Northwestern and the children that we have put in your care. So thank you for being with us this evening, and best wishes in all of your retirements and whatever comes next in your lives. And with that, any other comments from board members? We will move into the board president's report. And I don't really have a report tonight. I just wanted to remind everyone that Tuesday is election day. And we do have a primary election that is affecting us locally here with 4 open school board seats. And as you know, this is not new, but as you know, we have all 4 incumbents who are running: Todd Hernandez, Rosemarie Lister, Alan Rex, and Jim Warfel, running to retain their seats. And we do have 4 challengers whose signs are around the district, and I had the opportunity to briefly meet with them on Saturday for their meet and greet to try to understand their motives for running. It's unfortunate we don't have a forum for debate in our district for these local elections that we could get together and expose the challengers and the incumbents and have them make a more intelligent decision. But one of them I know is a teacher from Whitehall Copley, our neighboring school district, and her husband is a former teacher here. One is the vice president of the teachers union at Whitehall Copley School District, and a third is has a husband who is a teacher in our district. So that's about all I know. What the voters do have is an open and transparent track record of the 4 incumbents who that really shows their dedication and the successful board actions that they were part of while serving on this board. So don't forget to vote on Tuesday, and I'll turn it over to Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Delker. I have 3 updates for you this evening. One is, some of you might have seen in the news, the Pfizer shot was opened up for emergency use authorization to children 12 and older. I am happy to report that we have worked the last few weeks with Lehigh Valley Health Network to set up a community vaccine clinic. We were just waiting for the authorization for 12 years and older. And so tomorrow in your Northwestern Press and tomorrow an email from Dr. Sosnovic will go to all of our families that will allow registration for any community resident or even beyond that are 12 years and older who wish to receive the Pfizer vaccination. There will be an appointment that you do have to pre-register. If you are a child, you do need to bring your parent or guardian with you. And then there is a second date for the second dose, because Pfizer is a 2-dose administration, both of which will be here at the school district for those that wish. And so we will have that set up. And again, in the Northwestern Press tomorrow, if you are not on our community email, there will be a advertisement with a link, as well as that will come via email tomorrow morning to all of our families. So if you wish to register, look out for that. Huge thank you to Dr. Sosnovic as well as LVHN for setting that up. And I think it will be a great benefit for our families. Second update was actually just something that happened today. We did do today a food service company taste test. We had a number of students, 11 students involved with 3 different companies. And so we'll bring you the results of that comprehensive analysis as in June. But we had many students here taste testing food. By the 3rd company, we're on their 9th entree. And so they had some good feedback for us. And so we'll bring those results to the board in June. And the last one is Mrs. Meath, or Dr. Meath is on. We will be also bringing Circle of Seasons and our results of our documentation as well as our site review to the June workshop. And so I will certainly send that out more formally to the Board of Trustees at Circle of Seasons and Miss Allison. But we will be bringing the results of that as well as our recommendation for the charter renewal request to the June workshop meeting. So I wanted to let the board know, as well as I saw Dr. Meath on. Any questions, I will certainly take them, but very short report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Holman. Any questions for our superintendent? Okay, see none. We move into our agenda under personnel action. And Mrs. Matika, I would like, if there's no objection from the board, to have you review all of the personnel action, and then we'll take all 5 items in a consent agenda.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Delaker. The first item is our usual personnel action for our meeting tonight, May 12th. Just a few items. There's 13 this evening. You will see the retirement of Terry Carnahan, who we just recognized. And you did ask about the number of years of service with the 13 people with their proclamations tonight, and it's 226 years of service to the district.
Thank you.
Certainly. And the other items highlighted in yellow are items added since the agenda was posted on Friday. The next item is the support staff rate sheets for the 2021-22 school year. This is all of our support staff. This is something we bring to the board annually. You'll see the rates for 2021 and the new rate for 21-22. We ask for your approval on that this evening. Following that is the healthcare employee contributions and opt-out for both our 10-month staff and our 12-month staff. There are 2 attachments to the agenda this evening. We ask for your approval on these this evening. Next item is administrator salaries for the 21-22 school year. And you will see the police chief at the bottom, which is a change to our Act 93 agreement, which then flows into the last item, which is an addendum and a memorandum of understanding to the administrative compensation plan, specifically for the change in the number of days for the police chief. And I ask for your approval on these items this evening, 2.01 through 2.05.
Thank you, Mrs. Matika. And of course, the items 2.02 through 2.05 are all items that have been vetted and discussed, deliberated by the board in support of the budget parameters for the final budget that we will be addressing later on this evening. And with that, I would ask the board to take all 5 items in consent agenda and entertain a motion to approve these items.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lizer.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fatsinger. Comments or questions? Okay, with that, would you please call the roll, Stacy?
Sure. John Cassiano,
Aye.
Willard Delaker,
Aye.
Joseph Fatsinger,
Aye.
Todd Hernandez,
Aye.
Todd Lizer,
Aye.
Rosemary Lister. Aye. Alan Rex,
I abstain from 2.01. I abstain from 2.02. And I am in favor of 2.03, 04, and 05.
Rachel Scheffler. Aye. James Warfel.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried. And we will move into curriculum and building issues. We have had curriculum textbooks on public display for the required time, and those are up for approval this evening. And there is an athletic participation report, and I'm wondering if Mr. Zimmerman wants to address that a little bit, discuss that. Let's do that, and then we'll take the Act 80 days, which we vetted at the workshop, and we'll take all 3 of those items in consent agenda after Mr. Zimmerman presents the athletic participation report.
Thank you, Mr. Delaker. And it's fairly self-explanatory. You will see some of the numbers are reduced. That does have a little bit of, it is a little bit of a result of the pandemic that we just went through. One of the, some of the guidance that we received from our health partners was to maintain reduced rosters. Obviously, to only have absolutely essential personnel. So we really didn't have managers, We didn't carry that extra person, unfortunately. But we were able to get through 3 full seasons. And as you scroll through and you see the activity numbers, they maintained pretty well their status. They just thought outside the box, did things a little bit differently. Slowly but surely, we're getting back to some semblance of normalcy. But again, my hat's off to all the people involved with our programs. They really took a unique situation, made the very best of it. And I'm very, very, very proud to say how our students reacted was amazing. I hear some of the stories from other schools and the resistance. Our kids, they didn't ask questions. They didn't complain. They just did what they had to do and made the best of the situation. So it's just a tribute to our community and the kids that are we're being sent. So hearing it, if there are any questions on the actual participation numbers, let me know. If not, Mr. Delacour, I would like to recommend this current slate for next school year.
Okay, we'll take action in a minute. And are there any questions about the athletic report and the extracurricular activities that we have here at school?
Just one question for Jason. I don't know if he has this number off the top of his head. I'm curious what the unique number of girls versus boys participants are across the sports programs in general. You know, you've got the counts in here. I'm just curious if you have off the top of your head what the unique number of participants is. And then just another note, love seeing some of the track and field. You know, this is the first year, obviously, those kids have been able to get on that new track. So I've seen some good results from today's performance. That's all.
Yeah, so in response to that, Mr. Lizer, no, I don't have that breakdown readily available. The amount of student athletes we share during each season is 0, because we just don't permit that. However, from season to season, you do have several multi-sport athletes. On average, I'm going to say a dozen males and a dozen females participate in at least 2 athletic programs. So that I only have that at the top of my head because I'm looking at some senior awards. So we had about 12 kids, 12 boys, 12 girls, seniors that are multi-sport athletes. So again, I'd have to dive into that. And the Colonial League Track and Field Championships were actually yesterday up at Bangor. So, but I was just posting those results today because the pictures started rolling in.
Mr. Lizer, did you want double sports or the number of boys and girls total?
Again, that doesn't have to be for tonight, but I think at some point, just sort of an overall number of unique participants in these programs so we can get a good sense of the percentage coverage, you know, in the extracurriculars.
Yeah, Jason, he just wants to know total, how many boys and girls participate in any sport to try to figure out the number of students participating in a sport, not duplicate sports.
Yeah, I'll follow up with Mr. Lizer, but I'm reading that a little bit differently. And Todd, just correct me if I'm wrong, even if it's through an email. I believe what he's asking, so if Jason Zimmerman plays football and also plays basketball, is that, in other words, so our participation rate, Todd, that I'll have eventually towards the end of the school year, once I dive into those numbers, is we've been hovering right around 90% of our student body participating in at least one student activity, whether an athletic program or extracurricular. If you're asking for male versus female breakdown, I mean, that would really only be in sports. I think I break it down. I think if it's track you're looking at, I got to look at that report again, see how I have that. If it's total track or if it's girls track versus boys track.
Thanks, Jason. Let's follow up via email.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for any of these items?
Yeah, Jason, I see jazz band was 0 this year. Is that a COVID problem, or was that program dropped this year, or what's the 0?
No, that was strictly a COVID. We Mrs. Klein and I talked about what we could realistically prepare for. That's normally a spring concert. So with the number of restrictions that we had and the ability to prepare, we really wanted to focus on the concert band, which is coming up later this month. I think it's the 31st. So yes, that is COVID related. That is not a drop program.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, with that, I would ask the board for consent agenda for items 3.01, which are the calculus, the college prep algebra, and statistics and probability textbooks approval, the athletic participation report and extracurricular activities that we just heard, and the approval of Act 80 days, which we vetted at the workshop. Motion by Mrs. Lister.
Second.
Second by Mr. Fatsinger. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. And moving into policy, the only item we have is first reading for the policies listed. Have there been any questions or comments? Dr. Sosnovic?
No, sir.
No? Okay, we'll keep those in for first reading for another month and take action in June. Under operations, we discussed a transportation software agreement. I think that's been finalized now.
Yes, Mrs. Moyer is on. This is the one I emailed you about, and I changed the wording slightly today. Mrs. Moyer has been back and forth with the attorneys for the transportation software, and they have agreed to all of our changes, but they have yet to incorporate those and send to our final agreement. And so with your permission, I changed the agenda item today to say approval pending final solicitor approval. And so as long as it goes through approval with Jessica and her firm, and she makes sure all of the changes they negotiated on our behalf are in the agreement, we would like your permission to execute that agreement if you are so inclined.
Okay.
Mrs. Moyer, if you have anything to add to that, you certainly can. I think I talked to you late this afternoon.
Yes, Mrs. Holman, you're correct. There was a flurry of emails going back and forth, and it appears that they have accepted all of our revisions, but I just have not received the revised agreement to make sure that they are all incorporated, but I anticipate probably having it by the end of the week to review.
Okay, so the motion will be to approve the agreement pending final solicitor approval of the contract.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fatsinger,
Second.
second by Mrs. Scheffler. Any comments or questions? And as we heard during the workshop meeting, this will open up a lot more capability to explore bus routing and mapping of the transportation routes that we have in our district, and hopefully maximize the or minimize the rides that we have on the buses. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Now, under district finances, we have a number of items that have been vetted at the workshop. And there are a few items on here, such as the trash bid, the fuel bid, and the Pearson agreement, which I think has been just updated, and the hometown ticketing agreement contract that has been updated. And with that, Leslie, I would ask you to please walk us through these items, and then we'll take all of the finances as a consent agreement. Unless there is a board member who would like to single out one that they really would like to vote no on.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. The 601 is the 21-22 proposed final budget. Last week we did present the budget, a full budget presentation of the 2021 budget. Tonight I just want to highlight what's listed on your agenda. That will be the formal board action that, again, we are required to submit to PDE through that PDE 2028 document that is attached this evening. As noted on the proposed final budget overview sheet, total anticipated revenues included in this budget are $46,413,940, which is a 2.7% increase compared to the current 2021 school year. Total expenditures are $48,721,509, for which represents a 3.6% increase over the current 2021 budget. Leaves us a shortfall of $2,307,569. We are proposing, included in this budget, is a tax increase, 3% millage increase to the current millage rate, which generates $855,000 of new current real estate taxes. For revised shortfall and our proposed use of fund balance of $1,452,569. Budget includes a 3% millage increase, utilizes the 1.4 million of fund balance, and includes a proposed millage rate of 17.7360 mils. If there's any specific questions on the budget, I can entertain that now or can briefly go through the other agenda items.
Leslie, a second thought, I think let's take this item on its separately as one item, and then we'll move into the rest of them under a consent agenda.
Okay.
Well, are there any questions from the board about the final budget that we've been working on since October, and every month have been addressing the issues, and finally came to this one, which I think we'll have one more try in June to make any last minute changes that might occur between now and then.
If I could just make a comment on some of the board members asked me if we could reiterate some of the staffing changes that we went over last time in terms of reductions to staff, reductions to programs are included in this budget that you will pass this evening, including the 4th grade reduction, the middle school computer reduction, the increase to EL services, middle school 6th grade teacher, as well as the high school special education teacher. Additionally, this also includes the changes and eliminations to admin office in terms of receptionist and PIMS secretary, the police chief reduction you took action on earlier, and the food service management elimination to a company that I also spoke about earlier.
Okay, you heard the summation of the budget that we have been working on for the past year, and with that, I would ask for a motion to approve the final budget, proposed final budget.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Scheffler.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rex. Any comments or questions? It's been a long discussion and a lot of decisions that we made to get to this point. And with that, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
John Cassiano,
Move, aye.
Willard Delacour,
Yes.
Joseph Fatzinger,
Aye.
Todd Hernandez,
Aye.
Todd Leiser,
Aye.
Rosemary Lister. Aye. Alan Rex,
Aye.
Rachel Scheffler. Aye. James Warfel.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried. And congratulations on a budget moving us into the next year. And thank you for all of your honest and deliberate discussions that we had, and all of the issues that were addressed with compassion and with your expertise that you have brought to this board table. Now, Leslie, would you please walk us through the rest of these items, 02 through, say, 12, and just hit on the ones that have been changed that we were waiting for a trash bid, the fuel bid, and the Pearson and the hometown ticketing agreement to make sure they were all in line with what we discussed at the workshop.
Sure, thank you. Item 602 is the BCIU tax service agreement. This is the a routine agreement that we have discussed at workshop for tax collection services associated with tax bill printing and mailing for real estate taxes. 603 is the 2021 trash bid. This is formal approval of the trash bid that was presented at the workshop last week, noting that change in our trash collecting vendor. So we will begin, once this is approved this evening, the transition between the current vendor and the new vendor for the July 1st changeover. 604 is the 21-22 fuel bid. I'll just ask Stacy if you could open that document. This is when we talked about bid opening for the fuel bid. We participate in CSIU. We did receive notification Friday morning of last week regarding the winning bidders. We did conference with both Art and Jen and myself, in addition to placing phone calls to Mr. Delacour and Mr. Hernandez regarding our recommendation. Recommendation for the school year, or I should say for the 21-22 school year, is to go lock in with firm pricing. The firm pricing that you'll see if you just go scroll up back to the top of the front page. If you could open that a little bit bigger for me, please. Yep. So you'll see the star, third one down, the bid award, number 3, number 2, fuel oil. We locked in with firm pricing at $1.98 $98.73 per gallon for our heating oil, as well as then number 5, the ultra low LSD. And I'm sorry, that should actually be the firm pricing. Stacy, can you scroll down a little bit down to the firm? There we go, at the 20417. The tank transport number 7. So we'll need to get that corrected on that sheet. Those stars should actually be on number 7. We locked into those gallons. Those prices per gallon are actually less than what we are currently paying at the variable rate for the current 2021 school year. We did look at reducing our gallons for next year, participating in the bid, certainly trying to get back to a baseline of how many gallons we will actually utilize. So we've committed these gallons to the bid, and moving forward, we will look at that usage and making adjustments going forward into future bids. Any questions on the fuel bid, since this was an item that was not previously presented?
I just want to comment, Leslie, I think that these are good prices, and I think the direction we're taking is a good one based on what we're seeing with the inflation and the fuel shortages that are beginning to occur in our nation. And I think this was a good decision.
Thank you. Yeah, the average rate per gallon right now that we are paying is about $2.17. So these rates are slightly less than what we're currently paying. So we felt certainly going into summer, as more things open up, fuel prices go up, made sense to lock into these gallons for next year, which we have selected firm pricing in prior bids. Okay, next item is 605, Forecast 5 renewal. And this was presented last week at the workshop. This is just renewal of the budgeting and forecasting software that we utilized in the current school year and looking forward through next school year. Item 606 is the 21-22 insurance renewal. Based on our discussion last week at the workshop meeting, this renewal proposal does include the revised quote for student accident insurance, selecting that alternative plan, which expands our coverage as well as lowers the premium for next year. Item 607 is approval of the Tiger Summer Smarts programming. We are still working through some of those agreements associated with our summer programming, and we ask for approval to execute those agreements with those third-party vendors. And then obviously we will bring those back for retroactive approval once we have those documents. Item 608 is the Pearson contract. We were able to successfully finalize negotiations with that. Pearson was able to have discussions with King Spry's office, and the attorneys were able to negotiate those terms. So this represents the final negotiated document that's attached this evening. 609 is the PSD LAF settler attestation form. This was not a routine item. This is really just the board acknowledging as part of that fund that the fund has changed financial advisors. Just an item that we are acknowledging that change. There's no financial cost. There's no change to how we're utilizing that program. 610 is the hometown ticketing agreement. This agreement also last week was still under negotiations. We have successfully negotiated, and hometown was in agreement with all of our proposed legal changes from King Spry. So this is the final agreement that you'll see this evening. And again, this will be used for athletics and student activities as we look to potentially expand this service and use this for more robust services and its ability to collect online payments for different functions and fundraisers. 611 is the CLIU Technology and Education Legal Counsel Consortium. Again, this is a routine item we have used in several years. I believe there is value, and we talked a little bit about this last week at the workshop meeting. 612 is the Antalani Park Pavilion rental, also a routine item. However, previously was funded by Nestle. This year, the Student Activity Fund will be paying for that middle school field trip. 613 are the reports. No changes from last week to the reports unless there's any specific questions on those. And 614 are the bills. all routine unless there's specific questions on any individual line items.
Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to take 6.02 through the reports 6.13 as a consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fatsinger,
Second.
second by Mrs. Lister. Are there any comments or questions about anything that we just discussed in at the last workshop meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carried unanimously. And last item are the bills. And I would entertain a motion to approve the bills.
Motion to approve the bills.
Motion by Mr. Rex, second by Mr. Lizer. Comments or questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Mr. Delacorte abstained.
And one abstention. So that was 7 or 8 ayes and 1 abstention to, by Mrs. Scheffler to pay the bills. Motion approved. And moving, thank you, Leslie, for walking us through that lengthy culmination of our district finances this evening. Under other reports, is there anything you'd like to comment about the enrollment, Mrs. Holman?
There is not. If anybody has any questions, I will certainly answer or take them.
Any questions or comments about the enrollment report that we have on our devices, which changed since last week? Then we'll move into the foundation report. Mrs. Stitzel, are you with us this evening?
I am, yes, thank you. I do have 2 items regarding the foundation tonight. One is something that you've heard about for a few weeks now, and that is their annual Tiger Run and Fun Walk, which will be held Saturday, May 29th at Onalani Park. If you haven't registered already, don't worry, because you can go there in the morning of the race and actually register in person, which will unfortunately require you to get up a little bit early though, because check-in is between 7 and 7:45 in the morning. You can choose either the 5K walk or 5K run, or if you're feeling particularly adventurous, you can choose the 10K run to participate in. The other thing that I'd like to mention with the foundation is that on behalf of the entire staff across the district, we'd really like to express our sincere gratitude to them. They have provided us with a food truck that has come for the last couple Wednesdays, I believe it has been, and provided us with some delicious bagels. And this is on behalf of Staff Appreciation, I guess, week or month, because it was over a few weeks that it had occurred. But they were great. The bagels were delicious. We are so grateful that they were able to do that for our staff, and I know it was greatly appreciated by all.
And who sponsored the bagels?
The foundation did.
Very
It was
nice.
I can't remember the name of the food truck. It was
Back Home Bagels.
Back Home Bagels. Okay.
And Mrs. Stitzel, Mrs. Kinnon is on. I don't know. She is the development director for the foundation. I don't know if she wishes to say anything. Yeah. Maybe she should say his opinion.
Ask her again. See her.
Mrs. Kinnon, do you wish to say anything for the foundation, or are you just as a listening participant?
I just want to say we're happy that everybody appreciated the bagels. Thanks for including us on the report. And yes, please come support us with the 5K event.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening also.
Leanne, were you finished with your report?
I was. Thank you.
Well, it's good we have the bagels here and not before the run walk, I guess.
They'll probably be both there too.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Stetzel, for your report. And moving into committee reports, Dr. Warfel, Corbin Lehigh Intermediate Unit, anything to report? I hear nothing, but Dr. Warfel, Carbon Intermediate Unit?
I'm sorry, Mr. Delacour, I'm having a connection problem, but I have no report. We have a meeting this coming Monday night.
Okay, good. Meeting on Monday. Thank you. LCTI.
Yes, there was a meeting on the 28th. That's why I did submit my resignation letter. And I'll be going tomorrow to do the recording for graduation. So I'll take care of that tomorrow at 12:30. So if you hear any cameras breaking, it was me.
Great. And Rec Commission, Todd Hernandez.
Fields are in use, looking good. They painted lines in the parking lot. So there are 230 usable spaces. Hopefully, people that use the fields use the spaces and not the grass.
Good thing. A lot of activity over there.
Yes.
No old business on the agenda. Is there any old business from the board members? And seeing none, we move into new business, and we have the election of the secretary and of the treasurer and appointment of the LCTI representative to the Joint Operating Committee. So let's start with election of the secretary. And I think we have one name on the ballot for secretary to continue with Mr. Cassiano as secretary. Is there any nomination from the floor for secretary?
I nominate John Cassiano.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a nomination, there's a motion to nominate John Cassiano. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, all those in favor, any comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. I didn't hear you, John. Thank you for your service, and this keeps it easy for our letterheads and our bonding and everything else.
I'm here to help.
Thank you. So, all those in favor, aye? Did I take a vote?
You did.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting excited here. Election of the treasurer. We have one name on the ballot for treasurer. And is there any, and that would be Mr. Lizer. Is there any nomination from the floor? Hearing none, is there a motion to nominate Todd Lizer as treasurer?
I make a motion to nominate Todd Lizer as treasurer.
Motion by Mr. Fatsinger. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mrs. Lister. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? Motion carried. Congratulations. And again, that keeps it easy for our bonding and our letterheads and everything else. Thank you. Thank you for your service. And we'll move into one might be a little bit more difficult because we don't have a name actively listed here to replace our representative who will be sorely missed, Mr. Rex. But we will need a replacement for our representative to the JOC for the duration of your term. So it's not the full.
That's correct. I talked to Dr. Russian after it is the remainder of Mr. Rex's term until November 20th, 2023.
Okay, November 2023. So is there a volunteer, or do we have to twist some arms between now and the next meeting? I think Mr. Fatsinger, you're our alternate. Can you make the next meeting?
I'll take it, yeah.
You'll take it?
I'll take it.
Somebody nominate
Outstanding.
him, please.
Here we go, Joe.
Motion to nominate Joseph Fatsinger.
All right, let's get that.
I'll second it.
And a second, we have a motion by Mr. Lizer, a second by Mr. Cassiano. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? Motion carried. Thank you, Joe, for stepping forward, and I know you'll be also a great rep for that mission they have down at that school. So I guess now we need an appointment for an alternate.
You certainly can. I believe they do usually request an alternate if we have someone else who's
I think that'd
interested.
be a good idea. We don't have to do that tonight, but think about it, or if anybody is willing to step up as the alternate.
I can do it.
Okay, Mr. Cassiano. Okay, is there a motion to nominate Mr. Cassiano as the alternate JOC?
Unless somebody else wants it.
I nominate John Cassiano as the alternate for LCTI.
Okay,
Second.
there's a second A motion was made to nominate John Cassiano by Mr. Fatsinger, second by Mr. Weiser. Comments or questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you and congratulations, and thanks for stepping up to that. And that's what makes us a great board. We have very willing, committed people who are doing their best to provide the best we can for our kids. So moving into communications, we have at this point of the meeting another opportunity for courtesy of the floor. Is there anybody waiting to address the board at this time?
I do not see anyone.
There's no one raising their hand on Zoom. Pause for a minute, make sure that everybody heard. This is the point in our meeting where we offer courtesy of the floor for the second time. And seeing none, we'll move into communications from the secretary. Mr. Cassiano, got anything? Okay. And administrative and building sharing.
Yes, sir. Mr. DeVico.
Good evening. I think I'll speak for the building principals. It's hard to believe that we're nearing the end of another school year, a kind of crazy school year. It's coming quickly. The 4 building principals actually met yesterday to finalize some of the details for our end of year activities. And families can expect to receive information if they haven't already about these end of year activities for students and also families within the next week or so. So we're excited to wrap up a year and hopefully lead into next year with maybe a little bit more normalcy. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope we are more normal. Thanks.
Mr. Gibler.
Evening, members of the board, administrative staff. I just want to extend a sincerest congratulations to the retirees, specifically those who again had an impact on my education. A 7th grade teacher, Mrs. Madaus, Mrs. Leverance in high school, and then also in my professional time, in the short time I've had at the high school with Mrs. Carnahan in our conversations. So, and to all the retirees, that number that Mrs. Matika mentioned is staggering and just goes to show that the professional enrichment goes deep at Northwestern, and it's just great to be a part of it. So congratulations to those who are about to enter their perpetual summer.
Mrs. Pulley.
Nothing further. Mr. DeVico covered it. Thank you.
Mrs. Matika.
Nothing more tonight. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Mrs. Frisbee.
Nothing more. Thank you.
Mrs. Stitzel.
Just a quick congratulations to all of the retirees across the district. You will be missed.
Mrs. Burlett.
Nothing further this evening. Mr. DeVico covered it.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Briefly, the end of the regular season has passed us this week. We're entering the playoffs for the spring. Again, very happy with what we were able to do. And I just have one more event we'd like to get in. That's the band and choral concert at the high school. So that's coming up, knock on wood, end of the month. And I just want to publicly thank members of our community who stepped up. We met with our seniors, and under the restrictions at the time and that are still in place, the type of prom we were going to be able to provide our seniors wasn't one that they really wanted. So kind of thought outside the box and said, you know, we brag about the community we live in and the support that we have from them. It took a phone call and had some key moms step up and really take that on. I've been serving as a liaison to them, and it's just been wonderful to work with. And they're really providing our kids something that we might not have been able to do here as a school. Just wanted to publicly thank them. They know who they are. They'll be embarrassed if I mention their names. So if you're out there and you hear this, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mrs. Stauffenberg.
Thank you, Dr. Sosnovic. Good evening, board members. I just want to echo my colleagues' statements and congratulate all our retirees. I had the opportunity to work alongside many of them, and I appreciate and share their commitment to our students and to our community. So thank you and good luck in retirement.
Mrs. Yadish.
I too will just echo what Jason shared on behalf of the senior parents who stepped up to make such a special event for our seniors. We do thank you for doing something we could not do. And that is all this evening. Thank you.
That brings it to me. I also want to extend a heartfelt farewell to our retirees. Best wishes as you move on to the next chapter of your life. Thank you for everything.
Same with the colleagues that are going to enjoy Mr. Dibbler's comment. I will say perpetual summer. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your dedication to our students, and you will be missed.
Okay, thank you. Brings us to board sharing, and let's start with Mr. Rex.
Yes, I'll go with every day is a Saturday for the retirees.
There you go.
It's another good one. So yeah, congratulations to all 13. Hope it all works out very well for you. Thank you.
Mrs. Scheffler.
Yep, again, congratulations. I don't know if Mrs. Madaus is still on the line, but I had the pleasure of working with her a long time ago when I started working at Northwestern, and can personally say that Wendy, your enthusiasm for students and for teaching is really going to be missed, and what a model example you set for so many that have come behind you. So congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, I would definitely echo what everyone else has said. Congrats to the retirees. A lot of years of service within this community, and we very much appreciate that. Special thanks to someone who often, we don't recognize, Leslie, and the amount of work she puts into the budgeting process, taking us through the numbers, many times as we ask, the silly questions. But she does a great job pulling those numbers together. So I just want to personally thank her for everything that she does to help us, frankly, find places where we can, cut costs, creative ways to adjust the budget. And she's been very supportive of this board. So special thanks to her for sure. I also want to thank Aileen for her kind words this morning. I had a chance to sit on an early morning call with the Rotary Club as my daughter received an award. And it was, special words from Aileen, and it meant a lot to us and my family. So thank you for that. Jason as well, kind of wanted to thank him for really clearing the runway for the prom. As a parent of a graduating senior, it means a lot to her to be able to have that prom and an effective sort of end of year in a quite challenging year. So. Again, it's not lost on us what sometimes people do behind the scenes to help make some of these things happen and clear the runway for the community to be successful. So thank you for that. And very much looking forward to, a graduation ceremony in, I believe, less than a month, where at least 5 of the board members will be seeing off their high school seniors. So that may be a record. I'm not sure, Bill, but certainly to have 5 of us hopefully handing diplomas to our own children will be quite a remarkable experience to go through for this board.
It is. Yeah, it is the most that I've ever remember at one graduation to have 5 family members giving out their diplomas. Thank you, Mr. Leiser.
Hi, everyone. I echo what everyone said and just want to say that I am in awe of the commitment and dedication of the 13 retirees. And it is an honor to see how they served, and also all of the staff and the administration this year. We know this has not been an easy year, but you have been resilient, and I think the students have really picked up on that. And also, I just want to say with the activities report that we had looked at, it said 31 students in the Avidum Club, which I thought was really impressive because that's the largest. It's been in the 4 years that were listed up there. And what a great time for students to step up and have that positive leadership for messaging and support. So I hope that continues to grow, and kudos to the school for allowing that type of positive culture and environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Lister.
Just like to say congratulations to the retirees.
Thank you, Joe.
Same here, just like to say thank you to the retirees and best wishes in their retirement.
Thank you, Tom.
Best wishes to the retirees.
Okay, it's all been said very well and eloquently, and thank you for attending this evening.
You gotta grab Dr. Warfel.
Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor, out of sight, out of mind. Dr. Warfel? Dr. Warfel, are you still with us for board comment?
We just lost him.
Just lost him? Okay, well, with that, thank you everyone for attending this evening, and at this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Fatsinger.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Scheffler. Meeting adjourned. Drive home safely.